If you drop both heels as a default when mountain biking, you'll become the passenger of your bike. I'm not saying this just like that. My statement is based on physics, anatomy, and biomechanics. And in this video, you will feel and understand why this is the case. You will understand how to increase your traction on your front wheel, how to avoid going over the bars by using your ankles purposefully. Welcome to this video, which may be one of the most important videos you will watch in your mountain bike riding or coaching career. It's about the essence of riding your mountain bike safely and in control. My name is Roxy. I've been a full-time mountain bike coach and instructor trainer for many years, coaching beginners to Olympic pros, developing and improving my coaching methods 7 days a week. Passionately sharing my knowledge with you in my videos and of course in my online and live coaching sessions. There are 4 sections to this video. 1, the why of my statement: you should not drop both heels based on physics. 2, the why based on anatomy. 3, the why based on biomechanics and what you should do with your heels instead. And 4, where does this knowledge come from? Before I tell you anything, I'd like you to try this first. Stand up, you don't need a bike for this, and just do this right now. Stand in a straddled way, just like you would stand on the bike. Stand like this. Now I want you to lower both heels. Can you feel yourself tipping backwards? That's your body's center of gravity moving backward. Everything that happens on the ground obviously also happens on the bike. But the difference is that the ground doesn't react to your body's center of gravity or center of mass shifting, but your bike does. Because on the bike, you are the heavy mass and the bike is the light mass, and you have pedals and the crank arms which introduce your body weight into the bottom bracket and thus influence whether you have traction on your bike or not. Watch this. I am now compressing my bike in its center. Can you see, when I compress my bike here, how my shock and fork compress evenly? Now I am introducing the heavy mass, my body weight, into the bike over the bottom bracket, and I'm distributing my weight on the wheels, which leads to traction. Here I now have a scale to show you what happens with the load distribution in the bike when I lower both heels. I'm now standing with my full weight evenly distributed on my legs, no weight in my hands. You can see I have about 28 kilograms of weight on my front wheel. Just a reminder, I have no active weight on the handlebars, but still I have 28 kilograms of weight on the front wheel. This, by the way, is the reason why you do not need to lean onto your handlebar to have traction on your front wheel, but you'll find how to keep traction later in this video. Okay, now I'm lowering both heels. Let's see what happens. Already I have many less kilograms on my front wheel. I have reduced my traction by several kilograms just by lowering both heels. This is one of the reasons why lowering both heels is not a good idea as a default technique. In short, you are the heavy mass on the bike. If you lower both heels, your calm moves to the rear, the light mass, the bike reacts, you take weight from your front wheel and reduce the traction on your front wheel. Now, I am not saying you never need to lower both heels. You do need to lower both heels to brace against forces which want to push you forward, for example during heavy braking. Yes, that's when you do need to lower both heels to avoid being pushed forward and getting too much load on the handlebars, as this can catapult you over the handlebars in the worst case. But I am saying that you should not have your heels lowered as a default, because then you are shifting your body weight rearwards, which is too far back for most situations, and it decreases traction on your front wheel. Here's an example of what I mean. I'm riding the steep section with a compression now at the bottom. I'm lowering both heels and you can see that I'm being pushed rearwards. The bike is accelerating forwards, and in like worst case, it can either slip away or fold away. And that is the why based on physics. So now let's come to the why based on anatomy, which is point 2. The most natural ankle position is like this. So when you're standing upright, your foot is at about a 90-degree angle to your shin. If you now go into the stride position, just like you would stand on the pedals, and maintain this 90 degrees, you will see that your front heel is automatically lowered and your back heel is not. So now if you force yourself to lower your rear heel, your rear Achilles tendon actually goes into a strong tension, which can be very dangerous in case of impacts. Now, biomechanical why and what you should do instead. In case biomechanics sounds too fancy, related to mountain biking, biomechanics means, in very simplified terms, the interaction between the body and the bike to maintain control, stability, and balance. In an anatomical why, you have already seen that if you allow the natural ankle position, the front heel is low and the rear heel is probably not. In the physical why, you learned why you should not force your heels down, as this will bring your your center of mass, rearwards, and this will decrease traction on your front wheel. In the biomechanical why, you will now learn what you want to do instead. This natural position I'm going to show you now, or which I have already showed you, is front heel low, rear heel slightly upwards. That's the goal for most riding situations. Why? This ankle position is the foot wedge because you're wedged between the pedals. The foot wedge is a term from the BICP curriculum, and the wedge allows you to be wedged between the pedals, which means say goodbye to losing your pedals if you're on flats, and say goodbye to hanging off your bike and going over the handlebars if you're on clipless pedals. The foot wedge puts you in the ideal position to use your muscles to react to everything. So if your body is being pushed forward, you have the front lowered heel to stop you being pushed forward, to brace against the forces. With the rear heel slightly raised, you have a stop to the rear, which helps you to avoid being thrown rearwards. Of course, you could also pull yourself forward on the handlebars when you are thrown rearwards, but as your front end is light already, pulling yourself forward on the handlebars will further reduce traction, and therefore you are risking a front wheel washout. So now you will see a short clip with a focus on the feet, and can you spot the foot wedge? Generally, the goal of mountain biking is to keep your center of mass over the bottom bracket, to allow your bike to move and the body to remain as still as possible. And the foot wedge is your tool to achieve this. I call the foot wedge and the balanced stance through the feet the essence of mountain biking. The essence of mountain biking. Because the solid and balanced stance through the legs, through the feet, with heavy feet and light hands, will enable you to stay stable, to introduce your body weight into the bike over the bottom bracket, which then helps you to maintain traction, because tiny shifts of the calm through the usage of the ankles and the feet enable you to keep stability, control, and balance. By the way, I call this pressure control, this miniature movements. I will link a detailed video below this video because pressure control is a bigger topic. And you'll find out there why it's pretty dangerous to lean on your handlebar to have traction on your front wheel. Now let's come to the last point. Where does this knowledge come from? If you don't know me, I'm Roxy. I'm a full-time mountain bike instructor, and I have been so for many, many years. Together with Bernie, I run the German online mountain bike coaching platform Roxybike.online, and we coach mountain bikers of all levels, from beginner to Olympic pro. Bernie and I, we visit further training courses yearly, like several ones, in the field of sports science, neuroscience, training theory, mental training, riding skills. Yes, we still work on our skills, psychology, etc. And as members of the International Instructor Trainer team of the Bike Instructor Certification Program, we regularly exchange ideas with other full-time coaches also national coaches, in order to continuously develop mountain biking and especially to advance the global standard of teaching mountain bike skills. We love and live coaching. We spend 7 days a week doing this. I'm serious. I have a free day and I'm like, oh, hey, this is a good idea. This is how I can teach that easier. Let's try that. I'm serious. I'm an absolute geek when it comes to coaching psychology and mountain biking. With these videos, I want to help you ride safer. I want to help bikers as well as other instructors to get more profound knowledge, because let's be serious, that's how the mountain bike sport will always keep evolving. What's the use of all the knowledge if I keep it to myself? Bernie, who's actually an engineer, and we analyze and we question general statements about mountain biking and examine them to see if they make sense based on physics, anatomy, and biomechanics. And heels down as a default, as you have now found out, is not a great idea. It does have its uses, but not as a default. In my braking tutorial, for example, which is right here, you will see that one of the uses of lowering both heels is during braking. When we work with professional riders, actually both lowered heels are the reason for many crashes, like the front wheel slipping away in corners, in fast turns, and with hobby athletes, ankle position is the main cause for crashes of all kinds, because with the feet is where everything starts on a bike. Your feet are what connect you to the bike and what determine whether you are balanced in the bike or not, whether you have control or not, whether you have traction or not. And let's be honest, if you're losing your pedals, putting on clipless pedals does not fix the problem. It just masks the error, and therefore it makes it impossible for you to find and correct your source of misery. So now you have a lot of knowledge. It will take a little time to turn this knowledge into motor skills, because learning mentally and learning motor skills is different. Understanding is pretty fast. Learning to do and apply this knowledge physically takes time and many, many repetitions. If you would, however, like to learn how to, then I'm here for you. It's my job to make skills look easy and to help you learn them faster. So if you'd like to have structured exercises to turn this knowledge into real skills on the bike, if you would like to have me as your personal coach by your side, independent of location and over several months, then have a look right here, because on my Patreon channel I have more in-depth videos, and you can get access to my Patreon exclusive fundamentals mini online course, and also book personal coaching and feedback as a supplement. So, oh yeah, and if you want that pressure control video I was talking about before, to find out why you don't want to have pressure in your hands, to have traction on your front wheel, you can find it right here. Here you can subscribe, click the bell, because you want to be notified when I upload my next video. And I am so grateful that you're here. Share the video if you think it may be helpful for someone. Thanks for staying all the way till the end. I appreciate your time. I truly, truly do. Thank you, and goodbye.